Hi, so this is a video of my Mark 1 Series 1 Moto Guzzi Le Mans 850. Haven't owned it that long. Purchased it from a guy who was I guess an avid collector, had 30 or 40 Moto Guzzis at one stage. So this bike has spent most of its life sitting in a collection. The bike's largely original. It's an early series, so it's a 1976. So it's got the round tail light. Most of the bike is largely original, with the exception of the paint scheme on the tank. Somebody repainted that, so that needs to be repainted again at some stage, so it's factory correct. Has the original switchgear on the left hand side, which is good. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the original switchgear on the right hand side. That's very difficult to find, almost impossible, so if we ever come across one of those, we'll put one on. It's got very low miles, it's only got 27,000 miles from new. As I said, it spent most of its life in a collection, so it didn't do a lot of riding. It has the later gas adjustable or air adjustable inserts into the shocks, which was a fairly common adjustment for the Mark 1 in the early days. With having miles on the odometer, this is an ex-US bike. The US bikes were generally different from the Euro bikes in that they had a large cowl at the front of the fairing. I've removed that and brought the headlight back to more flush with the fairing, which is more in keeping with the Euro style of the bike, or the original way it was designed. The indicators had both front and rear had reflectors on them when I got the bike, which was again a US requirement. They were changed back to the Euro indicators. The bike has the twin bleed-up calipers, Brembo brake calipers, which is the original fitting for the early Mark 1s. I've put the waffle grips back on again, had aftermarket grips on, so I've put those on. This bike, obviously being a Mark 1, is the early round case engine, running the stock 36mm Lafranconi carburetors. This is now running K&N filters rather than the pretty cheap pod filters that were on there when I got the bike. This is also running Lafranconi Competizione pipes, and it's also got aftermarket gas adjustable rear shocks. As I said, the bike had been in a collection for quite an extensive period of time, so I spent a fair bit of time tearing it down and bringing it back to running condition again. Haven't restored it. Still needs a fair bit of detailing. You can see some of the discoloration there on the valves, or on the rockers, sorry. So we'll clean that up over time, but now the bike's in really good running condition. Like all bikes that have been sitting for some time, they obviously go through a bit of fair wear and tear. It's got a lot of nice original fittings, obviously the original steering damper adjuster, which is this unit just here, which adjusts through 360 degrees, and a little rubber cap for the ignition key, original fuel filler cap, original choke lever on the left hand side near the carburetors. So it's got a lot of original features, a few bits and pieces that aren't. So we'll try and fire it up. She started earlier, so she should start fairly readily. So we've got lights on the dashboard. You'll find that when the bike starts, the red light on the left hand side of the dash will stay lit. You'll see the little word oil next to it. It's actually not an oil light. That's actually the oil light's actually to the right of the word oil. The left hand is actually the left hand light's actually related to the low beam headlights. So obviously, as you switch those off, they go off. So we will put the choke on, which is on the left hand side. These This style of Guzzi has a fuel tap for both carburetors. So we'll just open those up. I'll give it a little bit of choke. I'll just pump the carburetors a little bit and hopefully she'll fire. So hopefully that video is of interest to guys who are interested in the early Mark 1 Le Mans 850s. This was a bit of a grail bike for me. It was a bike I always wanted to own. It took me a long time to find a Series 1. They're obviously not very common. There's not many ever built. So very happy to have this one in the garage, and hopefully you enjoyed the video.